It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. I was trying real hard to screw everything up, folks, but I caught it before I actually did it. Anyway, welcome to this morning's show. Pretty excited about today's show. Certainly am glad I didn't screw things up to start with. That's a plus for today. Anyway, I almost turned this off before it got started. So, all right. Welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on this, what is today? Today's December the 9th, 2024. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. And I'm trying to figure out. That threw me off kilter, folks. I am so totally disgruntled right at the moment. I know that I'm on the air, but other than that, I'm totally lost, which is nothing unusual. All right. Anyway, welcome to the Monday Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. We've got a special guest today, which I'll introduce here in just a second. It is the 9th day of December, 2024. We've about shot this year in the foot. What is it? Not many days left. My math isn't working this morning. Today's show is brought to you by Will US, the owner of Scoot Around, and of course by Chillie Cruises. We will get to some news after our guests. The headlines this morning, the lead story from the weekend broke right after the show on Friday. Norwegian cancels 35 more cruises. Reports of a fake Royal Caribbean cruise scam this weekend. A flood on Allure. P&O ship remains docked. A ferry dock damaged. A power failure on Belissima. Wellness-themed cruises on Windstar. A fully electric ferry, and lots more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Pastry Day. I can deal with that. I do like my pastries. I was just talking with our guest today about beignets. I love anything like that. Of course, donuts. I would have made a good cop, because I love my donuts. And I love any kind of pastry. Today in history. In 1935, Jay Berwanger of the University of Chicago becomes the first recipient of the Downtown Athletic Club trophy. In 1936, the trophy was renamed the Heisman Trophy after Coach John Heisman. Jay Berwanger. I thought I knew just about everything in the world about sports, but I do not know anything about Berwanger. All right. If you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guy. All right, so a couple quick things about the week ahead. Schedule this week. I have a cardiologist appointment tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to that since they have managed to screw up the MRI, cardiac MRI, whatever the hell you call that thing, twice. And why I'm going in to get the results and they haven't done the test, I have no idea, but they said to be there, so I'll be there. I will have the sharpened tongue out tomorrow, however. Wednesday, Hot Air Tom is going to join us for a few minutes. We're going to talk about the tours of behind the scenes on cruise ships, and are they worth it? And then on Friday, we're going to have the return of Mr. Bucket List. I remember the last time he was with us, he had to cancel out. All right. So getting on with today's show, folks. My guest has been here a bunch of times. I really don't have anything much different to say about him. He and I have been dealing with each other for years now. So with no further ado, let me welcome Frank Bubba Shumard. Bubba, welcome back to the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast.
Good to be here, Chillie. Good to be here as always.
All right, so I've been known to call you Mr. Holland America. Now I know you cruise on other lines, but you still know more and have done more on Holland America than anybody else that I know.
I do love it.
So I thought this would be an ideal time to ask you a couple questions.
Go ahead.
It's kind of a black day for Holland America in that the president, Gus Antorcha, is moving over to Princess. He's escaping. Now, I look at his tenure since 2020, when he started. I think he's been one hell of a good president. You know, he's managed to overcome the stigma of representing the old folks cruises and still represent the old folks cruises.
Exactly.
And that to me is pretty awesome. What do you think?
Well, you know, I think Gus is a heck of a guy. I have very, very much gotten, excuse me, I very much enjoyed developing a friendship with Gus. I think he's a fine fellow. I don't consider what he's doing an escape. I think it's a fresh view going to Princess. I don't know Beth. I don't know anything about her. I'm sure she'll do a great job because, you know, Holland's not going to put anybody in there that's not.
Yeah.
But no, it came as a shock to me that Gus is transferring, and that's the way I consider it, a transfer.
Yeah.
It's a lateral. No, it's going to be different, I think.
The only thing is that Princess is a little larger, so I guess you could say it's a step up, but I would consider it lateral too. I know very little about Beth. I mean, we're talking about Beth Bodensteiner, who is going to be the new, probably already is. It's sometime this week or next that the actual official changes take place, where she'll take over. I mean, she was vice president, so she clearly, this isn't going to be any strange grounds for her either. I look for some continuation of the extended Voyager type programs that Holland America is better at than anybody else. I know you've been on a couple of them.
And they are truly amazing. Cruising for 1421, we did 56 days, which I got to tell you, if I could go again, I'd be packed at the door.
Yeah.
There are, I wouldn't call them perks, but they do more on the ship. There's a lot of activities. There's one that comes to mind was a seafood extravaganza that, you know me, I like to eat. And they, you know, when they put king crab legs up there, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. I honestly would love to see us go back to the South Pacific. Lynn is looking, I know, at the Mediterranean. I want to see Scotland. I want to see the home country. This is, it's to me the greatest way to vacation.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to repack to go to another city. I don't have to worry about catching a train or a plane or a cab or anything. So it's what I quite like. You know, it's to me, it was a dream come true to start cruising.
Right. Of course, have you caught up with me on total numbers yet? How many cruises have you done?
I don't know.
I know you might have more days, but I'm in the 90s now.
We're well above 90s.
Okay.
Several hundred.
Days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm talking about cruises.
Oh, no, I'm not there, Chillie. I'd say 50 or 60 at the most.
Okay. So you That's one of the few things that I have over on you is I've got
Go for
4
it.
cruises under belt.
As
But
Lynn would say, it's not a competition.
yeah, I know. And of course, to me, Holland America has always been the best food of all the cruise lines.
I would agree with you there. And having developed a relationship with many of the chefs on board, I've made good friends with. You go to the people that'll take care of you, your beverage director and your chef. I've spent some time in the kitchen, and boy, you talk about amazing to see these guys, excuse me, in the galley. These guys and gals are truly amazing, and they're, in some cases, the unsung heroes. And when in our group, when you want to start complaining, it's just not, we can't do anything about a problem.
Right.
But when I see people complain about the food, I go, first off, did you take it up with anybody? Because if a dish is not to your liking, they will fix it. It's a well-kept secret, yes. But the food to me has been superior to the couple of other cruise lines we've been on. I guess I've never been on Cunard, never. But I look at Holland America as Cunard light.
Right.
It's.
I can see that.
In my mind, I think Cunard, a little stuffy, And of course, I'm a stuffy kind of guy anyway. I mean, I put on a tux every formal night, and I wear a coat and tie to dinner every night, and I do it because I like it. I know that there are people say, "Well, I have to do that for work all the time, and I don't want to." That's your deal. That's fine. But the only thing I really object to is cowboy hats and baseball caps at the dinner table.
Well, yeah, I totally agree there too. All right, so you've done. I know you've done a Royal Caribbean. We won't talk about that. You've also done Viking, both river and sea.
Yep.
I will let you talk about that a little bit. What's your opinion of Viking, both sides of it?
Absolutely amazing. You are treated first class from the moment you get to the dock until you disembark. As a matter of fact, when we got off of our river cruise in Amsterdam, the second in command saw the luggage and asked where we were going, and I told him about 3 blocks down, and he grabbed my luggage and he took it himself to our hotel. That's service you never expect. When the second in command of the vessel is pulling your luggage down a street in Amsterdam, Holland, I was floored. But of course, I was also a little bit under the weather at the time, and they took good care of us. The food, fantastic. The wine pairings with dinners, your wine is provided with your dinners.
Right.
And excellent wine pairings. Food was great. Accommodations were wonderful. I'm tickled to death.
Now, I know neither you or Lynn are at the point where you worry a whole lot about mobility. How was, for somebody that doesn't necessarily look at a ship the way I look at one, being in a wheelchair, how did you feel about Viking as far as their accessibility for the disabled community?
I don't know how your chair would work on the river cruises. I don't. You'd have to ask them. But on the ocean cruises, it's the same as any other cruise line. They have accommodations.
Yeah.
I do know that there is a handicapped elevator on the river cruises. You won't have to fight stairs or any of that. There's no problem is that I could see on the river cruise or the ocean cruise, except for I don't know about getting in and out of your cabin. I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah.
And the cabins are not as big on the river cruises. If you're looking for a real big cabin, get ready to spend real big money. There's only 2 on board the ship. But on a river cruise, we weren't in the cabin except for to change clothes, shower, and sleep.
Yeah. Well, of course, on most cruises, that's about all for I do too. The rest of the time I'm gone.
Well,
So,
I'm a napper.
well, yeah. Well, and I'm a worker, so I ended up coming back to my cabin and working for an hour here and an hour there.
When we're on Holland, I do catch myself doing that a lot. I do interviews with the crew,
Right.
Set up a video studio where I could shoot interviews. I don't know that I'll be doing that to that extent much more. It became work, and I mean work, setting up the lighting, setting up cameras, setting up audio.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that I'll be doing that much of that. But the friendships that I've made with crew members and management and staff over the years has been astounding. Chillie, I've got, I think, about 600 friends on Facebook that are crew only. And,
Right.
excuse my cough, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a fine.
I came home we had Blue Angels reunion in November 3rd. I got home and came down with COVID for great, but feeling a lot better now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've struggled through. I didn't have COVID this time, but of course I had double pneumonia, and when I came back from Alaska, the end of August, and then I had another bout when I came home from the last cruise that I'm just now getting over. But it was never COVID. It was, I stayed negative on it.
I know that you've got a cardiac procedure coming up.
Yeah.
Sweat it. I've got one coming up Thursday, Chillie. They're going to plug a new battery in me. Yeah. I'm my ever ready. Quit going. But the lifestyle that we choose and the life we live, can't live in fear.
Right.
And
yeah, that's one thing that I refuse to do. As long as I keep going, I'm gonna keep going. So.
Well, that's good. And Chillie, do you mind if I plug the Facebook page?
Of course not. I was going to ask you how many recipes you're up to now.
Labor Day weekend of 25, I'll hit 2,000.
Sweet.
Which means I only have 8,000 left in my library. Only 8,000.
Okay.
The response on that is sporadic. It's fun. I started having to put a disclaimer at the bottom of it because people were going aboard the ships and ordering the cocktails and expecting. No, dude, it's not there. It's for fun. Right. And the days when there was a quote drink of the day.
Right. All right. So plug your page.
We are the Holland America Line Facebook group official. There's 52,400 members as of today.
Right.
I'm wanting to hit 60,000 if we do a cruise and that's the deal. Lynn is my cruise director. I think she's looking at one in February for 21 days, but she keeps putting it off, thinking we want to do a long one in Europe. So if we do that, I'll be pretty busy this year.
Right. This is probably the first time, Bubba, since I've known you that you didn't have a cruise planned.
Well, we're doing some land travel.
Right.
I'm a driver, and I love to drive, and I love seeing this United States. And Lynn has seen all of it, from the air. But the American West, she hasn't spent much time in it.
Right.
There's nothing like watching the sunrise on the bottom of Salt Flats. Monument Valley, the redwoods.
Well, and I'm just in the process of doing a little rebranding of the podcast. And very soon I'm going to be adding a partner back, much in the way we did the Cruise Amigos 7-8 years ago, and expand from just talking cruising to talking travel. So a little bit of changing in that direction, Bubba, where I'm going to be talking a lot of land travel as well. And I'm hoping to be set up where I can do 3 interviews a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, across the whole spectrum of travel.
Well, we'd be tickled to death to join you, Chillie. Believe it or not, I've got the GoPros mounted in the car.
Awesome. Awesome.
We're going to get out there.
All right. All right, Mr. Bubba, I need to get on with business here today. As always, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom and your adventuresome. And goodness knows, I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Chillie. I hope you have a great day. Good luck
All right,
tomorrow.
thanks. All right. That, of course, is the one and only Bubba Shumard. Yeah, it was fun. He's one of my favorite guests, always. He and I are two peas in the same pot on many things. All right, so let's get on with business, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, guys, so we're going to start off today in the way of news. If I can scoot down here to find it. I went too far. There we go. We're going to talk about NCL and something that I'm just not real fond of. Let's put it that way. Norwegian Cruise Line has announced additional changes to its deployment plans for the 2025-2026 season, with an additional 35 cruises on board 4 ships being canceled. According to a statement sent to travel advisors on Friday afternoon, the sailings were scheduled to take place on board the Norwegian Bliss, Norwegian Breakaway, Norwegian Encore, and the Norwegian Joy. Canceled sailings include 9 cruises to the Panama Canal, West Coast, and the Caribbean that were scheduled to sail on board the Norwegian Bliss on selected dates between November 30th, 2025 and March 3rd, 2026. 10 cruises on board the Norwegian Breakaway were also canceled, including all sailings scheduled to sail between January 6th and February 6th, 2026. Sailing from Port Canaveral, the vessel was scheduled to offer 3- and 4-night cruises to the Bahamas during that time frame. All cruises set to take place on board the Encore between November 30th, 2025 and January 16th, 2026 were also canceled. Sailing from Miami and Los Angeles, the ship was scheduled to offer a series of itineraries to the Panama Canal, the West Coast, and the Caribbean. Norwegian also canceled 9 cruises on board the Norwegian Joy that were set to depart from November 29th, 2025 and April 11th, 2026. Affected itineraries were scheduled to sail from Port Canaveral to the Caribbean, visiting destinations such as Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and Tortola. According to Norwegian, passengers on the canceled sailings will receive notification letters starting today. Previously, in late November, Norwegian Cruise Line had canceled over 50 cruises on board Norwegian Jewel, Star, Dawn, and Jade. Citing fleet redeployment, the company said the affected passengers will receive full refund in addition to a 10% discount in the form of future cruise credits. New deployment plans for the affected vessels are expected to be announced soon. And I'm telling you, folks, I hate this procedure that Norwegian's going through. I mean, that's up. We're pushing 100 cruises now that they've canceled and left people dangling. And, come on. I saw that Kenneth went on a bit of a rant about it this morning. I totally agree with his feelings on that. I think Norwegian's got to do a better job. I mean, you set the schedule, keep it. Good heavens. So, I'm just saying they're losing a lot of good traction. A group of people claimed they were scammed into paying hundreds of dollars for a 3-day Royal Caribbean vacation to the Bahamas. Two of the women from the group, Florida residents Rochelle Price and Laisha Lambert, revealed they responded to a cruise offer on Facebook. They were led to believe they would be part of Utopia of the Seas sailing from Port Canaveral on the last weekend of November. Lambert recalled how she was instructed to deposit payments through Cash App, remitting over $500 for the promised itinerary. We had to pay $100 up front, Lambert told Jacksonville's WJXT4, and then over time we paid off the cruise. The whole cruise was $523, and then she also said that once they were on the bus, we had to pay an additional $25. Price and Lambert said they received fake reservation numbers and booking confirmations. They realized the ruse when they were prohibited from getting on the bus that would bring them to the port. Lambert recounted the embarrassment of being turned away and retrieving her luggage. When Price contacted the cruise operator, she learned they had no bookings. The Federal Trade Commission received over 55,000 reports of travel fraud in 2023. Meanwhile, a 2024 survey by cybersecurity company McAfee revealed that 28% of travelers have fallen victim to travel-related scams, with nearly 25% losing at least $1,000. All right, so my only problem with this, folks, I mean, other than, throw the jerks under the jail that pull off the scams. The one thing I disagree with, these folks feel that the way around it is to book only with the cruise lines. I totally disagree with that. I do agree that you need to know who you're booking. Don't book with a total stranger. At least if you talk to somebody that you don't know, let's say you call me today and want to talk about a cruise. Well, certainly I want to talk to you about selling you a cruise. However, I'm going to give you references if you want them. I'm going to give you plenty of references. I'm going to give you people that have sailed with me that can tell you what I'm like on and off a boat. So I don't necessarily, and to me, there's still that thing about booking with cruise lines, what they can do, same price as booking with a travel agent, but what the travel agent can do that the cruise line can't is that one time when you need somebody to be your representative, when there is an issue, whether it be a hurricane or an illness on board or any number of those kind of things that you're not counting on happening, when you need an advocate, your travel agent is a much easier accessible person to advocate for you if you have a problem. So that's why, and it doesn't cost you any more, and you've got somebody else representing you. So, all right, I'll get off that soapbox. Experience Alaska at an affordable rate. VR1 balconies are only $1,289, including taxes and port charges. MSC Poesia sails from Seattle, May 25th, 2026. Book now. Call 434-258-9264 or go to bit.ly/Poesia Alaska 1. Passengers aboard Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas witnessed an unexpected flood on forward deck 10 during a recent cruise. The reason? Water pooled on the floor following a water leak the day after the ship departed from Port Miami on a 3-night cruise to the Bahamas on December the 6th. The flood did not affect the ship's itinerary, which continued without delay, and will return to Miami on December the 9th. That would be today. Royal Caribbean did not comment on the incident. Allure of the Sea's infrastructure might need an overhaul. The vessel is already scheduled for renovations beginning in mid-February of 2025. Early winter storms can be brutal in Northern Europe, and make for challenging conditions for cruise vacations. Instead of sailing into such weather, P&O Cruises Iona is remaining docked in Southampton for longer than anticipated, following an early arrival on Friday evening ahead of the worst of Storm Darag. The ship had been scheduled to depart Southampton and navigate to the English Channel in the late afternoon on Saturday. Instead, the vessel remained securely docked until conditions improved and finally sailed Sunday night. Several ferry sailings between Ireland and Wales have been canceled due to damage at Holyhead Port caused by Storm Darag. Irish Ferries and Stena Line both announced the suspension of their scheduled services between Dublin and Holyhead. There's no bad time to visit New Orleans, but the fall months are especially charming with seasonal celebrations and comfortable temperatures. If you're heading to the Big Easy, book a scooter or wheelchair rental and explore this historic city hassle-free. New Orleans mobility rentals are 10% off until the end of the year. That's right, folks. New Orleans rentals, 10% off until December 31st, 2024. Call Scoot Around toll free, 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137. That's New Orleans Mobility Rentals. The MSC Belissima, which set sail from Keelung Port on Wednesday for a 5-day voyage, encountered an engine failure that prevented her departure from Naha, that's Okinawa. This incident has left the 1,800 Taiwanese passengers stranded. Windstar Cruises has unveiled its Mind, Body, and Spirit Collective, a series of wellness-themed voyages set to launch in 2025, catering to tourists seeking a holistic approach to their travels. The sailings combine immersive exploration with programs emphasizing mindfulness, exercise, and healthy living. The fully electric passenger ferry Orbit Clipper is set to debut on the River Thames in March 2025, marking the first UK's zero-emission river crossing service. Operated by Uber Boat by Thames Clippers, the vessel will connect Canary Wharf on the north bank with Rotherhithe on the south, aiming to accommodate the increasing commuter and residential demand in East London. Be on one of the first MSC ships to go to Alaska when we sail May 25th, 2026 on the MSC Poesia round trip from Seattle. 7 nights going to Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, Juneau, and Tracy Arm Fjord, and a stop in Victoria, Canada on the way back to Seattle. Inside cabin start at $849 per person, balcony from $1289 per person. The MSC Poesia going to Alaska. Why not join us? I promise you we'll have a great time. Just call me, 434-258-9264, and we'll cruise with Chillie to Alaska. All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Again, thanks to my friend Bubba Shumard for joining me today, sharing some of his bits of wisdom and humor and information about Viking and information about Holland America. Always enjoy getting with Bubba. All right, let's see who's over in the chat room fussing at me today. Let's see. Kenneth, I mentioned that Kenneth went on a bit of a rant about Norwegian and what they do with the continued cancellations that I agree with. There is Mike from the other side of the pond. Hey, Mike. Kenneth says hello to Mike as well. Joanne's with us. There's Bob. Hey, Bob. Good to see you again, my friend. Sherry's with us. Good morning, Sherry. Always good to have you with us. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Katie's with us down in, where are you, Katie? In Florida. That's right. That's that state down there. That's where it's warm. Yeah. Okay. Where am I going? Anyway, Katie says, happy birthday to M. Oh, it's M's birthday. I didn't know that. Thank you, Katie. Happy birthday, M. Send me some cake. Gretchen's with us. Good morning, Gretchen, out in Ohio. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Everybody's saying happy birthday to M. Sherry does too. Sonny says, Kenneth, aren't the NCL canceled cruises late 25 and 26? Yes, they are. But now we're up to, what are we, it's 80 or something total that they canceled. And, they're going to do something different with them. But there may be more because there's still holes in the schedules. I don't get it. I don't see what possible benefit there is to scheduling something 2 years from now and changing it after you've already advertised it. To me, it's poor management. Emily says, hello to everyone, and thank you for the birthday greetings. She says, thanks, guys. Hot Air Tom's here. He says, I have Facebook friends on the P&O ship stuck in Southampton. Hope that is not us on the Bliss. Yeah, well, I hope not too. That's for sure. Oh, I missed this back up here. M says, what's the time frame for ships getting renovation? How many years have to go by is the question. It's required in 5, but most cruise lines do it in 3. So Hot Air's right that the regulation calls for 5. But again, most of the cruise lines do it every 3 years. Or at least they schedule it after 3 years. Jessica Simpson's with us, says, good morning, all. Good morning, Jessica. She's on X, by the way. Hot Air says, a travel agent told me many of the last bunch of cancels have simple adjustments, and the days for the new listings will be adjusted by a day or 2. Well, I mean, that's fine. It's great that there are not going to be any massive changes, but there's still changes, and it's going to affect people adversely. So I just hate that they do that and keep you in a turmoil constantly, especially with these massive chunks. So that's just my thought, folks. All right. Again, thanks to my friend Frank Bubba Shumard for joining me this morning. Keep in mind, folks, I'm going to talk with Hot Air Tom on Wednesday and Mr. Bucket List on Friday. And then maybe we're going to have Miss Gretchen with us from out in Ohio the following Monday. Just saying. Keep in tune. No telling what you might come up with. A lot of things happening here on Chillie's Cruises. A lot of things going on. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. As always, thanks for being with me. Please, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. Good to have all of you guys from X with us. We got over 100 people from X in-house this morning. It's always great to have a nice group from there. And it's even though everybody in the chat room can't see your chat, I can. So please continue putting your chats in there, and I will always make reference to it as we go through the chat room. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for now. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you back here on Wednesday, same time, same channel. Have a great day and a great Tuesday. See you Wednesday.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.